very much for joining us. There's been a little something in your extra books. Hello, people. How are you?
Good. Good.
Did you open this already?
What? Yes, because I love you.
Doing that, you're making me crazy.
That's right.
Welcome to OCD with Scott McNeil.
I think this is supposed to be the many voices, not the OCD of Scott McNeil.
It could be the many personalities. But you never been to my previous seminars. It's all about voice stuff. It's about personality and character. Did you just... Make me get all like, you know... I'm exhausted from walking up here. Say altitude. It's your thin Canadian air, right? Away from me. I can't do any of my usual jokes. You want to pretend you're American for a minute? Then I can make fun of you.
Shame about that hockey game.
Looks like it.
Which one?
Well, look who's just waltzing in on their own time. Hi, William. Come on in. You don't write, you don't call. You could be lying bleeding in a ditch for all we know. We worry a lot about you. I'm just going to put this on the table.
Did you break it?
The table? Hell yeah. Gone. Welcome to Speaking from the Diaphragm class.
Do you want the table?
I could do a really filthy joke, but I'm not going to. No, I don't want to. Because the table for me is just something to say I hate the table and it becomes a prop. And then I can do 20 minutes on how I hate tables. But now, having said that, I actually feel kind of weirdly naked just standing up here. Hang on.
Favorite.
Closed. Whoa! You and your hot microphones nowadays, well, now it's so low. Okay. Hi, everybody! Hi! Nobody said hi, Doctor.
Your name is Scott.
What?
I said hi, Scott.
Hello, everybody! Thank you. Hi. We did already? Why are we here? No, we don't mind waiting.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to let you know that the newcomers will no longer be admitted to the show. We'd like to remind you to keep your hands and your feet in the ride at all times. Any of you with motion sickness problems, pregnancy, or lower back problems should inform the ride attendant right now, and you can be directed to the key rides in the back. Because this one's gonna be a freak show!
We can now close the doors and pump in the magical gas. That would be lovely. Thank you so much. Soon you will begin to feel very relaxed. You may experience a mild tingling of your extremities, both right and left. Then, like all of us, you will begin to see music.
Because right now, man, I can hear the color orange. And it's awesome. Oh wait, it just became Miley Cyrus. My life is hell! Give me like a racket! Okay. Not wearing any clothes at all! Thank you, me. Now that's stuck in my head. Welcome to hell. Somebody just leave? It was me, wasn't it? I'm sorry, I can do better. Can we hug this out?
It was staff.
I love you. That was a bad breakup. I'm sorry you had to see that. Wait a minute, I can say, I'm sorry you had to see that. I'm learning to speak Canadian again. How creepy. So, hello, hello, everybody. There's a girl on the stage. She's awesome. She has the double prefix. Yeah, she has the license to kill. My favorite impression, Sean Connery. Money Penny, come over here and shit on my lap. Excuse me, James. You heard me. Come over here and shit on my lap.
why he never said that line in the movie. Hi everyone, I'm Scott McNeil, I'm a voice actor. Because I have no other life skills. Because if I didn't spend my days in small padded rooms screaming, I would spend my days in small padded rooms screaming. Why did you become a voice actor? I had no choice. The voices in my head told me to do this. You guys are all so shiny. Look at your ants. Oh wait, that was an actual ant. Never mind. So, I have been a voice actor for 25 years now, before the microphone got involved. Back before we had no fancy microphones back then, you held up the tape and you yelled at it. That's right, tape. Well, I've been doing this a long time. Anyway, I have done, I hate this, I'm no good at this. I've seen other guys like, hey, here's my resume, come see my candidate, blah, blah, blah. I've done about 12,000 episodes of various cartoons over the years in my career, some of which you know, a lot of which probably nobody's ever seen because they were cool and awesome, and that's showbiz. Let's everybody turn and stare at the latecomers, turn and stare at the latecomers.
That's our masquerade director, Bruce.
Thanks for doing this. Proceed like we're not even here.
We're not even in. We're just going to do some planning and then do some choreography. But you know what? Talk amongst yourselves. We're going to be fine. Okay, everybody, look at the persons that are trying to not be here. Yeah, the feather's a nice touch. Just saying. So how I got involved with the monkey was this. So they're not even paying attention. Not even paying attention. Anime-wise, well, you guys probably actually know more of what I've done than I do because I oftentimes will consult with you if I need an answer. It's like, does anybody like, what show is it? And they're like, I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, I've done a bunch of stuff. Anime-wise, popular stuff, I was Duo Maxwell, I've done The Wing. Thank you, insert lackluster there. Because that was like 8,000 years ago. And okay, that's all stare. It's about time you showed up. I'm just saying. Just super saying! I never get tired of hearing you say lies! Your onesie hood is staring at me. I'm not gonna lose this staring match. I can do this. My eyes are focusing in two different directions. You can see that. You think it looks weird from there, try it from the inside. I was Koga on Inuyasha. I was Piccolo, Jace, Fedora, Karoni, Majin Buu, myself, Doctor, a bunch of Dragon Ball Z. The original! Frickin' Canadian one, eh? John Ray. Frickin' give her on that. I was Wolverine on X-Men. We'll do a bit on him later. I've done a bunch of stuff. I mean, Grumpy Bear and Bear Bears. I was Herbie the Elf and Hugo Cornelius in Rudolph and the Elephant with Toys, which I'm very proud of. I'm independent. Not if you don't mind my being a dentist. Yeah, like dentist isn't a metaphor. Figured that one out as an adult. I was like, Herbie was gay as hell! They didn't tell me that! Gay as hell! What else? I'm on My Little Ponies now. Of the fabulous Flim Flam Brothers. Traveling Sam's Ponies Non-Parade! There's a whole, like, other world with that. Like, seriously, it's freaky as hell. I'm just gonna step into the vortex. What the hell just happened? I'm not going back in that way. That thing is really loud. Is that what I said? So, welcome to ADD Time with Scott McNeil. This is the dumbest thing you could have put in here.
Although, if you were talking about a Scott wrangling tool, remember? It's like, uh-oh. I'm not good at split focus. This is how the personalities begin to rift. It started with one, and then like an amoeba, they just start like, there's like fur every, this is really kind of, don't go there. Don't go there. So I've been accused of being a lot of things, but sometimes I'm not. So that's what I do. I have nothing prepared, as I never do. Because it's gonna be spontaneous. We're gonna discover stuff together. You're all pink and shiny. And smiley, pink and shiny. Everybody look at pink and smiley about that. Your boyfriend let go of your hand, maybe you could. Jeez. Get a room. So I do cartoons. And I have the best job in the world. And then sometimes I get to stand up here and answer questions because you beautiful people are going to come up with these awesome questions. And then hopefully I'm going to come up with some semi-awesome answers. Anyone good?
There's a question.
Well, thank you for coming. You guys have been terrific. Don't go into the vortex.
Hey, Scott.
Hey Scott, I'm just wondering, have you ever been stopped by the police and have you ever used your acting skills to get out of it?
I'm under a court order not to answer that question. Have I ever been stopped by the police? Apparently the police love me because they like to spend a lot of time with me. It comes of looking. Funny thing is, I have two cars. I have a very sleek and shiny, fast, funky Corvette, which is made by GM, and it's PC blue, and I hate it. But it does 185 miles an hour. I have a $600 1994 Nissan Pathfinder, which I drive every day. It's shiny, and I love it. 3 days last summer, I drove my vet. I racked up more tickets in 3 days to double what I paid for my beautiful little Nissan. Yeah, the cops are. Have I ever actually, I know they're just like crying with a schoolgirl or sometimes just wetting my pants. Which works surprisingly well, by the way. That man's crazy. Any man that would just stand there and urinate on himself without even blinking, we'll just leave him for the homeless people squad. I would like to say yes, but frankly, you know, they have guns and I don't. Well, that's not entirely true. At the time, they're armed, and so I tried not to be totally cheeky. Although I'm now old enough that I could pull the, listen son. Listen, Mr. 20 years old with a chin strap. Let me tell you about life, sir. Let me tell you about common human decency and humanity. I got a $700 ticket for not having a driver's license when I was pulling in to the parking lot of the DMV to get my driver's license. That's a true story. And it was a 20-year-old with a chin strap. And I'm like, you're aware of where I'm going right now, right? On this auspicious occasion. And whilst I do appreciate the fact that within the realm of the letter of the law, my license has in fact expired about 15 minutes ago, my clear intent is to fact. Written up. I have gotten away with a few things with US Customs for some reason, because they tend to be a little more human. Flying through, I can't remember where I was going, somewhere in, this is me randomly meandering, by the way, this is what I do. Going down to the States, you gotta go through US Customs in Vancouver, and then through Canadian Customs on the land, in Vancouver. Flying over there is fun. So there's a huge wall of giant American, scary-looking men at U.S. Customs. There's a guy named Nathan, Florida. He's a big man, big fat man. And he's a scary face. And there's a big lineup, and you know, all of these civilian travelers, and I'm coming through looking like sort of a drug dealer terrorist, as I often do. I think I may have had a beard at the time.
And so it's the usual, you know, what's the purpose of you visiting the United States of America? Ooh, grill you, all right, you go ahead. Next, you know, I get up there and say, what's the purpose of you visiting? I'm going out to a convention. What kind of convention? Animation convention. What kind of work do you do? I do voice work for animated cartoons. Who's that? Oh yeah? Acting. Get this line. What have I seen you in? I'm like, you've probably never seen me in anything. So I go, well, I do, you know, yeah, anything I would know. I say, well, I don't do this. It's Beast Wars. Beast Wars! Damn, what? So, well, I was so sorry. He turned into a 4-year-old girl. He called all of his co-workers over. And we've got this party going on. And there's this huge line of people behind me. And I'm doing stuff, you know, I'm doing some Bill Cosby, and I'm doing a comedy show. And they're like, wow, there's a man, you know, he gives me this kind of like, you know, a man, you know, have a great trip, boom, and everyone's like waving me goodbye. And this sweet little lady behind me, and I go, oh my God, you're so nice today. She steps up and was like, boom, what's the purpose of you visiting us? I will never forget that. Then I did have a young kid who was like an X-Men fan. I kind of flipped out. Doesn't work again. We will remove your sense of humor and then give you a job at Canada Customs. No smiling at all. Look, a bottle of gin. Thank you. Did that have anything to do with your question? Oh, good. You're allowed to throw things at me if I completely derail and just actually don't get around to answering the question in any way, shape, or form.
You kind of answered the first part, but not really.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. What was your favorite voice act?
You know what, I get asked that a lot, and honestly, I don't have a favorite. I have the greatest job in the world. I play for a living. It's very rare that you go like, sleeve weave in front of a hot microphone for a couple hours and get a bunch of money for it. There's been ones that, like, I was really proud of having done Yukon and Hermie, just because I grew up in the original. And I'm like, how cool is that? I got to play Foghorn Leghorn and Baby Looney Tunes. Mel Blanc is the greatest. Them all. So that's, you know, my legacy piece of having grown up inspired by his stuff. Beast Wars, honestly, still proud as hell of that show. Proud, I can say proud on the East. Because the writing on it, so I was a fan of the show. Like I said, I've done 2 shows in my entire career that I watch. One is League of Super Evil, if anybody's seen it. I think it's funny as hell. And it was so much fun to work at because it was Lee, Colin Murdoch, Lee Toker, and myself. And it was, so basically it's just 3 idiots in a box. They would stop tape all the time because we'd be on the floor. Like just, you know, and poor Cindy, the director's just like, no point yelling at them, just get them riled up. Let them work it out. And then it's funny, you know, it's a good show. But Beast Wars I watched because it had what North American prelay type shows had not had up until that point, which is what anime has, which is a well thought out, continuous story arc. The writing on it was great. Every other show, you know, all the He-Mans and it's, you know, we save the world in 22 minutes and then sell some action figures. We did that with Beast Wars, but we also told a story. It's all fun to work on. I've played so many weird things. I don't know if anybody remembers a show called The Wacky World of Tex Avery. Woo! Woo! Yeah. Freddie the Fly. And his arch nemesis, Amanda Banshee, the 80-year-old spinster woman. Well, Freddie the Fly was Billy West. Guess which role I was. That's why cartoons are cool! You can play anything! I did a show called Sushi Pack. I played a tiny little blob of wasabi. Named Wasabi. He was a crime fighter. He didn't speak. He just made noises. You know, it's like, and for this, I dreams of Shakespeare and actor. I've done tons of roles where I don't speak because I can do stuff with my voice. One of the coolest comments somebody once said, you know, you're kind of like the Frank Welker of Canada. I'm like, oh, thank you. Because believe me, everything you ever heard or seen or watched or listened to, somewhere in there, Frank Welker is making a noise. He's that good. He can do sounds that you like. Humans don't make those noises, at least not out of this. Yes, young lady?
The same lady would like to ask a question.
Have I answered that one?
Yes.
I'm sort of running through, I mean, stuff will come to me, and then, you know, all the stuff that you guys know.
Hey.
Hey.
It's more of a, I just wanted to pull to the attention that this young lady right here is celebrating her 23rd birthday.
See, I can't even do the, we have a tradition in Canada. 23rd birthday. Wow. We're all gonna do this. Well, this time, we're gonna do it as fat cheeseburger Elvis, man. Something wrong with my lip, man. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. What's your name?
Michelle?
Michelle. Happy birthday to you. That was specifically Cheeseburger Elvis, not to be confused with Vegas Elvis or Skinny Elvis. Cheeseburger Elvis is my favorite because he's so wasted. And suddenly he has a vibrato you get that truck through. Random story. I did a TV show many years ago called The Ranch. The Ranch involved my one and only experience with full frontal nudity. Let me say this about that. First of all, when you're doing those kind of scenes, and it wasn't like porn, it was about porn, it wasn't porn. They keep the studios at about 50 degrees Fahrenheit because it makes the ladies look good. Makes the ladies look very good. The ladies all walking around with nice bags. Going, I look so good when they shoot my scene. It's 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm a dude. The men in the room right now are going, oh yeah. That's tough. The long and short of this, I was playing an Elvis impersonator who was receiving a particular act of sexual gratification. And in what is known in Japan as the moment of the clouds and the rain approached, I decided to suddenly burst into the Battle Hymn for the Republic in the American trilogy from Elvis. So as the moment came up, it was like, glory, glory, hallelujah. Anyway, the director thought I was an idiot, but I think she left it in. I never watched it. Anyway, welcome to Random Thoughts about nakedness and temperature and Elvis with Scott McNeil. Have we mentioned the ADOS thing yet?
Yeah, we have.
Attention deficit. Ooh, shiny. Hi. Happy birthday, by the way. I mean, sincerely, happy birthday. And thanks a lot for singing along with me, guys. Throw me under the bus.
Are you okay? You seem very pale. Your skin tone is... Are you getting vitamins? Can we get some salad?
I just have like a silly question, but I was wondering, what's your favorite Pokemon?
My favorite Pokemon. I had an answer for this once because people often ask that, and I'm like, I don't know nothing about anime. My kid! I still have no idea what I said, but you guys clapped at me.
Simple Canadians. Give them things and we smile.
But something's beeping.
It's just a bomb, don't worry about it. It's fine.
What's this readout? This big, like, LED numbers counting down? What's that all about?
It's till the masquerade.
Oh, the countdown to the masquerade. Put the chains on the doors now.
You pretty much started out in He-Man. That was a really huge deal. First of all, can we please have I Have the Power because it's awesome? And second of all, did you know that it was going to be such a big deal and take off the way it did when you started doing it?
I will clarify this because I did not do the original 1982, the He-Man that everybody knows. I would love to say that I did. But, like My Little Ponies and all these things, there are franchises that never quite go away. I did a thing called The New Adventures of He-Man, where he had a ponytail. But it was one of my very first auditions. It was my first audition that ever worked, because it was my first show. And I was like, all of a sudden it was like 65 episodes of pre-laying, and you get like a character and 4 characters. I went from unemployed actor to like, hello! I blew my first fortune on sushi. But as somebody that knew of the original He-Man and how iconic it was, I wish I could give you the, like, whoa, we had no idea. I mean, there are other shows, like Beast Wars, we had, you know, I'm in the Transformers Hall of Fame now. That thing lives on. Waspinator, one of my characters, is now the most imitated character, I think, in cartoon history. I'm like, sweet! You know, with anime people, was, you know, do you remember seeing this and this? I'm going, we do so much of this. We didn't know that Gundam Wing was going to become huge. Nobody knew that Dragon Ball Z was going to become this behemoth. But so I'm in there auditioning, and I'm like, wow, okay, Prince, really? They're like, yeah. So you, really? It's like, yeah. All right. But, really? Yeah. Would you just do it in time? You know, we got other people asking, but by the power, really? Yes. By the power of Grayskull, I have the power! And I'm like, damn, that was cool! And I ended up actually originally booking my first role was actually He-Man, and then in the first episode, everything kind of swapped around, so I ended up playing a character called Flipshot. I was bored. I still have the action figures from that. And every now and then, somebody will bring like original stuff from the, and I'm like, dude, where did you get that? And then in 2003, we did He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, which is kind of a remake. And on that one, I was Beastman, Ram-Man. I said Ram-Man and nobody giggled. I'm so proud of you. We had a character in the original called Butthead, E.H. So I was Beastman, Ram-Man, Stratos, Clawful, Cobra Kong, and Merman, which was really cool. Nobody here watched it, but apparently it's huge in Germany. Something about this big alien blonde man running around in a lone cloth. I don't know what it is. But, you know, this is what it is. So we are not here to judge. We are here to dance. Almost aspirated on my own spittle. I thought there was a hand up for a second. There is a hand up. Here it is. Oh my God, you're shiny too. Hi.
Hello. Is there any character you wish you could have voiced, or any dream character you would like to voice?
All of them. Every single one of them that pays money. Every character I ever auditioned for, man, woman, and child. Yeah, honestly, I mean, everything I go in for, I was like, I would love to play that. Because you never know how they're going to turn out. There is one character that I make no secrets of, I am an uber fan of. If you come into my house, all of my rooms are filled with little plastic action figures, which is not abnormal. What's weird in my world is they're all me. Except for a couple of things. I have a couple of original cells and a bunch of stuff. My favorite show out of contemporary cartoon world. It's all part of our plan to take over the world. And you know what? We are all proud here in Canada. Not only we're going to take the gold medal in hockey, but Maurice LaMarche, who plays the brain, is another good Canadian kid. Hell yeah. Woo! So yeah, I'd love to have done that. I wouldn't have come up with it though. It's his job, his voice. And somebody went, you know, your Orson Welles impression would be perfect for this. And I went, all right. Peas in July. Sorry if you're watching Maurice, because you're better at this than I. What is this? Something is taken control. Any questions? Oh, hey. I have very sorry, I can't do it with a microphone. Hello.
Sorry,
whoa!
Your Dinobot voice. Was that the original? Or
put your hand up.
Sorry.
There you go.
What was the original Dinobot voice?
You were here yesterday, weren't you?
This morning.
Okay. I use this example a lot because if we get into the questions later of, you know, developing, not so much developing characters, because I'll get into that and feel very strongly about that, but developing voices, things you can do to create sounds. Another really cool voice I got to do, because it was cool before I started, much like landing Wolverine, like it's already cool, I played Cobra Commander on G.I. Joe for a while after the original voice, Chris Latta, passed away. People always go, does anything ever hurt your voice? Yeah, hell yeah. One voice has ever hurt my voice, Cobra Commander. It's a shredder, it's a throat destroyer. So I took that. I don't think I can even get there anymore. Cobra! No, I can't. Citizens of the... I took that. South the planet, okay, we need to find something that's slightly more down into an acceptable range. And then he was born. The old-fashioned way. Brutally. Yeah, you're always going on about that dino boob. Or should I say wizard lips? I was kidding about the... boy, we're open at that. Waspinator was an example of the genius of a great casting director. Doug Parker, who also played Pterosaur, was directing Lost. Well, this is very new, so he was one of the directors at the time. And of course, we're auditioning for this. It's like, oh, well, some Transformers show. Call back after call back. And everyone's going for the bad guys, right? And all bad guys are like, so, and I hadn't really seen pictures, and so I went on and Doug was the one who went, use your bubble voice. I'm like, what? And I think on Mega Man, I played a character called Eddie, who's just like, so cute. You know, saccharin, sugar, insulin shock inducing. But I'm like, yeah, it's effective. And I goes, yeah. Take that vocal place, make him a bad guy. Take this and everything is like, make him sick. And then it's funny, I'm like, oh my god, I see a picture. Hello, he's a wasp. And then the writers met me and went, McNeil was an idiot. And we just dumbed this character up. Big bangs, you know, one for the scene. Spanish dragon, several see our chamber ripples like a big bang, bang. And there he was born. It's combining toys. Dinobot. I was surprised, because I already had 3 characters on the show, and then there was auditions for Quick Strike and Silverbolt for season 2. And I thought, you know, the one I want is Quick Strike. And it's like, no, Colin Murdoch got Quick Strike. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Colin's great. And then they went, like, you booked the other one, Silverbolt. The one where they just keep going like, oh, we just want your voice. I'm going, I don't know what my voice is. Nobody does. I know several people that do a really good Scott McNeil, but I'm not one of them. And so I was kind of struggling with that one, and it's going like, well, you know, it's just me. And then I used the word citizen one day. This is the cool thing about that show, was the writers were there. And this is where they were part of the creative process. It doesn't often happen that way. Process, I can say that. So I went, you know what I mean? All right, citizen. And they went, ooh. And then I went, now I got it. He's a dumbass, he's a paladin. And he says things like citizen. Did that? Okay, nobody's yelling at me, so I must have answered it. Yes?
On your extensive list of things, you have League of Legends down. I was just wondering what voices you did there.
You know what? I'm not absolutely certain. I know I played about 4 or 5. I know the one I do remember was Heckler. Heckler was this giant centaur. Super badass. I don't know if they got the joke when they wrote it, but I was also working on My Little Ponies at the time. So one of the things Heckler says in this massive, friendship is magic. They're going, why are we doing this line? I went, trust me, this is funny. There are people that would laugh.
Hi. Hello. Hello. I was wondering. I don't know what to say.
Now you're cringing, going, why did America try to do such bad British accents?
How did you originally get into the series? Into doing voices?
Damn you and your good questions. I got very lucky, to be honest. Hi! I had trained very seriously as an actor. I had done 4.5 years of full-time theatrical training. I'd studied my Shakespeare. I used to my Moria. My Johnson's in my bacon, if you want to enter into that argument. I was given a lot of grief in theater school because they went like, you know, can you just not do voices? You don't do characters? It's like, this is how I act. I had dreamt of this since the day I was 12 years old in Disneyland, which I was obsessed with, in the Haunted Mansion, which I was obsessed with. There's a long story about how I got there. And the voice that you hear as you go through there, the late great Paul Frees, often overlooked. People always go, Mel Blanc, Doss Butler, and like, Paul Frees was one of those three. You know, welcome, foolish mortals. I found out he was also the Pillsbury Doughboy, and something in my head went, I'm not alone. Other people hear the voices too. But that was a magical thing that people in LA did. I have done, you know, people said, I'm for a living, what I was kicked out of school for. I've done voices almost since as long as I can talk. Because I'm pathologically and ridiculously shy, as most of us are, so what's better than being other people? It's so simple! Long and the short of it is I got very lucky. There was no industry in Canada, there was no industry in Vancouver as far as cartoon voiceover was. And I went in, actually no, Doug Parker comes into this story again. I had just done a radio play that a friend of mine had written. I played about 9 characters, and I went, you know what, I'm actually pretty good at this. Like, you know, maybe radio commercials, something. So I got in touch more with my agent. You know, because everybody wants a classically trained Canadian Shakespearean actor to go out and do their thing, so I wasn't working on it. I said, you know, so cooler version of it's probably on the internet someplace, but went in and met Doug for an audition thing, started puking voices out my ears. I see marks of just I'm a bit trying to get it in line, just a bit. And he was like, oh dude, I wish I'd made it like a week ago. And I'm like, ah, thanks, why? He goes, well, I just finished doing some casting on G.I. Joe. And I'm like, yeah, right, I want the cartoon. He goes, yeah, So there was a project that came up, directed by a gentleman who I think actually is a certified sociopath out of LA who was directing it. I met with him, I was brilliant, and he was a nut bar. And I went, I am never doing that again. So I bypassed the next show that came up, and then the next one I auditioned for was the He-Man. So, and then 12,000 episodes later, I am the luckiest on the planet. So I tripped and fell into it. That's the secret. That's how you do it. Trip, fall. It's like learning how to fly. You trip, you distract yourself, you just forget to hit the ground. It's true, that was that. Sitting feet off together.
Is there any character that you would not play again? Like that you absolutely hated doing the voice for?
No. Absolutely not. I mean, honestly, there are some that are kind of dull. There's a lot of filler stuff. And I've done a lot of series that are just, you know, sell toys and crap. But no, they're all fun. And, you know, every time you do them, they give you money. It's really like magic. People go, how come you do that in Barbie movies? Barbie's rich! Now Barbie is less rich because now I'm so rich. You understand? It's simple economics. I've done some stuff that you go like, wow. You know, because we do cartoons, right? The first 20 years I was into cartoons for kids, cartoons. Then I've done a couple of things like Black Lagoon, I did a thing called Broken Saints, which is a web thing. It was like, you know, it's like they went down into the forbidden word vault in the hazmat suits, through the liquid nitrogen and the lead lining to bring up the words that nobody uses. Psh, don't touch them with your bare hands. They'll burn you with cold. Those are fun. This guy right here. Dude, when are you gonna get a haircut now? Seriously, like 1980s, rock on, whatever, okay.
I have a good role model to follow, so.
My work is done. I pass my legacy on to you.
I'll try to do a good job. My question was, did you ever audition for a character that you really wanted but didn't get?
Yes, that's the same answer as before. Everything I've ever auditioned for. Some are work, you go like, but there are some that you just go like, I got a gut feeling that this is going to be something really awesome, just based upon the writing. You do get a lot of audition or a lot of information when we audition. I tend to go off myself. I like to see pictures because I start to create characters based on what I see in their eyes. But yeah, and there's some, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, going in for Wolverine, it was like, God damn right, I want to play Wolverine. Hell yeah! I want that. I want it not only because it's work, because it's Wolverine. who has never been played properly, ever. Steve Bloom, I would say inarguably the best Wolverine ever. I'll put myself in the number 2 position. They've had some weird other ideas. Get a bunch of Australians to play Wolverine. But he's not American, but if we make him Canadian, he's going to be too weird. We all are Canadians. Who here's been to Northern Alberta? So, Wolverine's not going to go, don't make me get all Canadian on your ass, son. Up there, it's like, frickin' give me a Ryan Coke. I'll frickin' pound you right now, man. I'll go right now. I fucking give her, man. Another ride, let's do it. I did that once, somebody said, you record it, I'll animate it. Because that's Canada, man. I've been up there. That's no exaggeration. I did an episode of Arctic Air. It was like, wow, I need to translate. And it was cold. It's always the same person asking the question. You in the green shirt.
I can't help it. I'm such a big fan.
This is awesome, because normally I'm like, you know what, I'm really smart. When I can't hear people, I do this. Yeah, you figured that one out quick.
Hello again.
Hello again.
I was wondering if you've done more roles in which you were just voiceless. You mentioned you did Wasabi. I had no idea. No idea you were in Sushi Pack.
Yeah. I do a lot of stuff that is just vocal. We did a whole thing for the, what was it called? Twisted Whiskers. You know, it's basically based on Hallmark greeting cards. They were little shorts. I played basically all of the animals in them, which is, you know what? You know, people go like, you just like, as an actor, you know, you're dealing with a vocal medium, but you're having to deal with non-vocal communication, or non-verbal communication. You have to be good. You know, Scooby-Doo was kind of a brilliant performance. He didn't use words, but you knew what the hell he was saying. Breathe. You know, it's like, it's a very pure form of acting. You know, you're not just going, oof, I'm a dog, oof, I'm a dog, oof, I'm a dog. Because they're very specific in the scripts. It's like, you know, jumping with joy, while thinking about this and contemplating Dostoevsky and tragedy and reading Nietzsche. Excuse us, we are trying to talk, and we are having a conversation, and you people blasted. They went into the brochure. You again, young lady in the green shirt with the plaid.
I was just wondering, have you ever had any vocal injuries and how did you deal with that?
You know what? I'm a bad person to ask because most people would say, you know, this is your instrument and you must treasure and cherish, and I do horrible things to my voice. Let's see if I can find it. I found this cool new spot where my right tonsil used to be. I hate this thing for a second. It's the grossest sound in the world. I haven't used it yet, but I'm really happy with it. Anyway, I kind of make a lot of money by doing things that would make a speech pathologist cringe. You know, Cobra Commander's not healthy. It's not good for you. Dragon Ball Z is not good for you. Nobody in the real world yells in 12-minute segments. And you don't know how long that's going to be in the studio. It's like, okay, big fuss. Like, there's a little break there. I had passed out in the studio from doing exactly what I just did. Oh, look at the pretty lights. The only thing I ever did that ever hurt me, honestly, was Cobra Commander. Possibly because it's not a voice I developed, and it's impossibly high and impossibly shredded. It may be, in fact, what actually killed Bruce Lamb. We never know. His head just exploded. But, you know, there are other people. You obviously do have to... Sometimes the more damage, I hate to say any of this. In the old school, guys, the magnificent, you know, those guys all chain smoked. And they could write them off as text deductions. It's a different world now. Depending on the kind of characters you play, too. You know, a lot of the anime stuff, people specialize in playing, you know, young, clean-voiced people. They have to watch it. You know, any kind of damage can start to add texture and timbre.
from the way I work, is kind of vocal, whatever I am. Kind of the more damage you do, the better. It just gets more interesting and it gives you more tools to play with. There's more strange flaps that shouldn't be. You're just like, where did that noise come from? I'm like, I don't know, but it was cool. Yes, young lady in the green shirt. Hi.
Okay, this worked? All right, there we go. So when you were younger, how did you first start learning how to do voices? Like, how did you take just that noise and make it your own?
I think the medical term is Asperger's syndrome, which is sort of a borderline high-functioning autism. There's probably a lot of us know. This is our world. We are nerds. It's true. We love shit right now. Oops.
This microphone said a very bad word. Just listening to things and making those sounds. I do that more as an adult, actually. Because I'll just hear something, because voices live in weird places. And a lot of, developing stuff is going, suddenly goes, hey, okay. Suddenly that voice up here is like, instead of becoming, what am I, a clown? What do I freaking amuse you? You go, well, it's not high, it's not pretty, it's sort of, would you find this? There's all, and it's just monkeying around. Like, finding that one, I don't know what I was doing. I might have been throwing up or something. It's hard to get. It's just, one of the best directors I've ever worked with, Susan Blue, she did kind of a seminar when I was getting started out. She's like, she was opening her car door, and I went, she went, what can I turn this into? Which then suddenly becomes David Lopan and all these. If you could see what these eyes have seen. It's just playing, essentially. I mean, I started off like just basically, watching cartoons and doing weird impressions of really bad impressions of cartoon characters and stuff, just because, I'd hear stuff and I think that sounds cool. Plus, like every single one of us, I hate the sound of my own voice. 25 years in front of a microphone with headphones on, that never goes away. That's why I do other voices. That sounds weird to me. It sounds great in my head. I'm like, my God, listen to me all day. And you hear it on tape, you're like, I'm a chipmunk. So just, honestly, it's just playing. It's like music, it's like anything else. It's like, you kind of develop an ear and just goofing around. I goof around. You know where you learn stuff? Cars. I come up with stuff when I'm driving all the time, which is trippy because I have a convertible. And yeah, people like, don't look at the crazy man in the car next door, honey. Just keep your eyes down. Because sounds, my neighbors worry. My neighbors all think I'm a drug dealer. It's awesome. Honestly, I live in a pretty cool neighborhood in Vancouver. I leave my doors wide open. I leave my motorcycle out front unlocked. Because they go, he looks very sketchy. He keeps very strange hours. He doesn't seem to work normal jobs. He has lots of stuff. Shiny things. And we hear noises coming from his house. Like a hockey ball comes into my yard. You don't come in old man McNeil's yard, get it back. And I'm happy with that. Nobody messes with my stuff. They go, he's got lots of money. He's got to be a drug dealer. He's got to be. Or just a psychopath. It's like, oh, it's worse. I'm a children's entertainer. I can see through the window. Your kids are watching My Little Pony right now. Strawberry shortcake. Care Bears. That's me. Want to buy some weed? Yes, young lady in the green shirt with the plaid? Oh, wait a minute. Are you kidding me? That.
It's really loud. Okay. I was like, it was a costume that I made, and I was just having fun to play because I wanted to show it to you.
Oh my God. Holy You gotta get someone to look at that. That is true magnificence as ever I have seen. Interesting. Are you all like you're sitting there? You know, this is Dinobot from Beast Wars.
This is also Lindsay, the girl who runs
This
the
is
convention.
Lindsay, without whom none of us would be here. Yay! It's like being unborn. I said that out loud.
Hey, Scott.
Insolent vermin. If you're filming right now, this will look magnificent. It's not worked the old-fashioned way. Brutally!
Yeah, follow along with this one.
Dinobot. Maximize!
No, it's still in beast form. Oh, damn. Wow. See, I get to see stuff like that. I mean, how many people have a career like that? It's like, you know, not many dentists walk around and somebody comes up dressed as a giant. Yeah, that probably actually does happen. You know what's weird about this con? I haven't seen a single stormtrooper.
Yeah, we don't have any as well.
There's stormtroopers everywhere. You go to a dental convention in Omaha, Nebraska in January, there will be 501s.
We have a DeLorean. It's
Can I
not.
have it?
No, it's at the university.
Oh my God, future mine! I worked with Chris Lloyd just recently on Psych. I started my career doing Chris Lloyd impression. You're not allowed to do Chris in front of Chris. He's a highly intense man. He scared the hell out of me. I went up and introduced myself, because he just kind of sits by himself. And I'm like, hi, Chris, I thought I'd introduce myself. I'm Scott. You will have the dubious honor of, or just our pleasure, if you will, of murdering me most foully later on in the day. And he's like, isn't that nice? And when we were doing this, like, if you don't roll that camera, man, because Chris is giving me stink eye like he wouldn't believe it. It's an amazing actor. And I'm like, yes, dude.
Last question.
No, it's not the last question. Here's what we're going to do. And this may give you a rest. We're going to do what I like to call lightning round. Lightning round means that we are going to do very quick answers in very quick questions. So, anybody that's got a question, put your hand up now.
Right here first.
Okay, starting there, of course. But just let me get everything established. Your hands up in 3, 2, 1. Okay, every hand that's up now will get answered. No other hands. And it's going to be like, oh, well, you get a real answer, and then we'll go to lightning round.
What is the most annoying character you ever played?
To me or to you guys? Because you guys can tell me that way better than I can answer. I liked him. I mean, some of them, Suezo, I thought he was weird, but I liked him. You know, they will make you so he's like, wobble, wobble, wobble in your face. They're all fun. There is no annoying. I played some that were purposefully annoying. You know, robots. I did this character called Max. It was such a weird one. Fine. Okay, so we're going to lightning round now. I'm sorry if that was...
Who had your hand up for the lightning round?
Alright, you. Sorry, time's up. Over to you. Sorry.
Back in Beast Wars, when you had to have arguments with yourself, how often did you improv those lines, and how often did those actually get written?
Most of it actually was written on that show. Reboot, they would allow Gary and I to just go off on hack and slash. That one, but I would do those all in one pass. Everybody else was like, we're going out for coffee with Scott. That's one of his little themes with himself. Which is the fun of what I do for a living because there's a medical condition called voice actor. Yes?
Have you ever tried to voice act while sick?
You have to voice act while sick. It's showbiz. The show goes on. If you're sick, it's like, well, tough. Sometimes the coolest voices in the world come out with you. I have auditioned, and everybody that I know that works in this industry has done that. You've gone in really sick at an audition, come up with this thing, and you get hired for it, and like 6 months later, and it's gone through Bookman LA, and then you get into the studio, and they're like, oh, that's not the voice that we hired. You're like, dude, I will go out and lick a dirty couch. I will get sick if I have to. I need this job. Yes, sir.
Have you ever did a voice-off battle with another voice actor?
A voice-off battle with another? Not really. The first time I met Chris Sabat, the other Piccolo, we kind of just like, he was doing a panel. He was like, is that a challenge? He's like, is that a challenge? I did a panel with Steve Bloom once that was awesome because it was dueling Wolverines. Hey, how much fun is that? And what a nice guy he is. Yes?
Your favorite Koga scene from
The one where he screams?
Yeah.
That's all I remember. The rest of the time, I was naked and drunk. Much like I visualize you all right now. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the lightning round. You have been fantastic. Thanks all for playing along. Don't forget to like and hold them up to the show. Another thing in the room?
Yeah, the masquerade.
Okay, so power, give me back my power. I have the... No, I didn't do that. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for coming and doing this. You made it so much fun for me. We do need to clear the room because they're doing...
Just a little thing where we have to set up.
So we will play, if you guys want to do like, if you want to do shiny stuff, we'll go out there and do it, so it'll all be awesome. Thank you very much for today.